This is Majinoni, and here's some comic reviews for you. First up, we have Lake of Fire number 3 from Image. Now, Lake of Fire I think is kind of interesting in the sense that it's the knights, it's kind of like during the Crusade time, and they're fighting aliens. And these aliens are not very nice. They're basically monsters that have crash landed, and they're rampaging. Now, what I found kind of interesting about this is it's the people that are in the story. You know, you have heretics everywhere. You have characters that have to basically watch very carefully what they say, what they do, because it's on this. You know, like either they're on the side of God, the king, or they're basically the spawn of the devil type thing. So they have to at times walk a fine line, and these knights are not what you would say aren't always the best upstanding person type thing. Overall, it's like I said, I'm finding it an interesting story. As you can imagine, everybody in this issue here, everybody's held up in a town. There's a priest who's just going insane, wanting to burn somebody at the stake, and then you have the aliens crashing through their walls and have taken some humans or townsfolk. So now the knights reluctantly have to go save the day because that's what they're supposed to do. And that they know where the aliens are at. So that's where it basically ends with them going into the quote unquote Lake of Fire. But overall, I'm enjoying it, fairly well. Alright, let's look at Generation Zero. Now, I'm just going to do 2 and 3 at the same time. Now, basically what's going on is in the first issue, somebody died. And this one girl, she's trying to, they were going out and she's trying to figure out who killed him. And so she enlists the aid of Generation Zero. Now, these guys are, for lack of a better word, like a mutant in a sense, because they have powers and special abilities. But they're not like the X-Men where you see the claws, you can see the lasers and things like that. They're a lot more unique abilities, which I'm really appreciative of, that there's something different, but they are also on a different level in the sense that, while they are superheroes, they're not necessarily putting on costumes and fighting crime. They're fighting a different kind of a battle. Now, in issue 2, they narrowed down their search to one person. And what was really weird was in issue 3, was they enter her mind and they call it like this hero mind type thing. And it's everything from her viewpoint, which, as you can see, looks like it's straight out of Archie. So what they're doing is they're seeing memories, and they're trying to figure out, basically find evidence, is she responsible. Overall, I think the storyline is pretty good so far. It's interesting, very unique abilities, and I'm definitely glad I picked this up. As it's going so far, I would say this is definitely heading on its way to be tradable, for sure, to get a trade. Alright, Batman Detective Comics, number 943. This one was actually really, I'm really enjoying Detective, in the sense that it's taking the focus away from Batman, and it's the Bat team. It's the Batwoman, it's Spoiler, it's Clayface trying to become more of a human. Granted, he's human, but it's he still associates himself as a monster because of his abilities, and of course Batman's thrown in. Now in this story here, they're still dealing with the death of Tim Drake, which we know is just a matter of time before he comes back. Literally, it's just a matter of time before he comes back. And at the very beginning, these strange villains basically attack. They kill some policemen, and they're trying to figure out who they are. Well, we don't have to wait long. Now, I'm going to give a little bit spoiler because I have to give props out to this. Now, the whole beginning of this issue here is giving you little bits and pieces of what everybody's going through, which I think is great, because if you look at what was going on in the past few issues, you basically had a setup of, okay, here's your cast, then giant monsters, and now they're going back to, okay, this is who these people are, then this is what motivates them. Now, Bruce takes, Batwoman, to a party, so to speak. And, of course, they get interrupted by the villains. Now, this is why I'm saying I have to give props and spoil it. these characters are really, really well designed. I think that, I mean, they're upset with Batman. They're claiming that he's responsible for something that that harmed them, and this guy's the only one who's not really that interesting looking. He has a power to poison people, but the rest of them I think look really, really deadly. They look interesting, and you can tell that they put a little bit of extra time and effort into creating this cast. So I have to give DC props with that, definitely. Now, definitely, I really enjoyed this book overall. All right, Titans. Okay, I'm enjoying Titans, but at the same time, I'm just going, okay, it just boggles my mind a little bit, and how the writers handle speed. You have Abracadabra or Kadabra, and he's masking his location, but he's allowing them to figure out there's 3 locations where Linda could be at. So they split the Titans into teams to go after these 3 locations at the same time because they only have an hour to figure out where she's at. I'm going, you have the speed force. Can't you just run through location 1, 2, and 3, and you can do it like in a second or two? Problem solved. I just don't get that. But no, they split up into teams. He goes to the one location. They stop. Each team has to fight evil versions of themselves, so to speak. They don't fight the exact duplicate of themselves, but duplicate team members, and none of those fights go well. Again, it's everybody basically gets captured except for Wally, and Wally has to make the ultimate decision. Do I save teammates or do I save Linda? He can only do one type thing, but then again, he's got super speed. Save them all. But that's part of Kadabra's plan. He's basically saying, the more Wally uses his speed, the more eventually he'll just disappear. So overall, I mean, I'm liking it, but at the same time, I'm just going, let's just move this along and let's get on to the next villain. Teen Titans #1. Okay, Damian turns 13, so he decides to beat up on the Teen Titans, and basically with showing them that individually they're not as strong, but together they can fight as a team and become stronger. Which doesn't sit very well with the heroes because he basically beat them and kidnapped them. Now all of this isn't but Damian is not just doing this out of the goodness of his heart. He's got another motive, and it's called his, Ra's al Ghul. Now, again, I'm going to spoil a little bit, but again, it's because, I have to give DC props. They created some really interesting looking villains again. And basically, Ra's al Ghul came up with a group of villains. And these guys are going to go up against the Teen Titans. Now, overall, I mean, yeah, granted, they're a little bit cartoony, but, just imagine this with a different artist. It's like somebody who maybe, just imagine him, the detective artist or somebody like that. That or the regular Batman book or somebody who's less cartoony. And this is a pretty impressive looking team. So I'm really glad seeing that there's some new characters, and I look forward to seeing the battle, that outcome for that. Alright, Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur. This is one of my guilty pleasures. And, I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because I have a feeling, either you get it or you don't. But look, let's put it this way. The girl, she's got a T-Rex as a pet. She's got an alien who loves her, and she really wants nothing to do with him. They're at the Lego Championship, and you know what's going to happen, don't you? The Devil Dinosaur is going to rampage through the Lego Championship. And it is what it is. And it's just like a fun, entertaining book. It's a low stress book, meaning, it's not this great, world destruction challenges every single second. You don't have to worry about betrayals or anything like that. Nobody's dying. And overall, it's just a fun book to read. Highly recommend it. Please, please support these types of books. Now, Miss Marvel #12. I had to pay more for this, so I'm not happy with that. because they kind of sneak these price increases. Now, basically, I'm almost calling this as a filler because basically, Kamala goes back to her grandmother, and she spends some time. Now she's back in, I would say a foreign land, but that's where, she came from. And it really is a different viewpoint of, like, the world, so to speak. She's just basically doing things that normal people would do. She's basically saying, I don't want to be a superhero while I'm here. But unfortunately, there's some people who are destroying water supply. And so she decides to don a costume and fight the evil people. But then she quickly learns that these people aren't necessarily looked as evil with everybody in town. So it's a very delicate balance that has to be maintained with dealing with these types of people. But overall, I mean, it's a decent read. I mean, it's overall, Miss Marvel, it's been one of the most shining parts of the Marvel Universe where, there's just a lot of crap, and it's been consistently good. So I'm not really, even though it's kind of like a little side story-ish type thing, I'm not going to complain. The art's good, it's different, it's unique, it gives it its own flavor. Same with Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, it has its own look to it. It looks nothing like what you read, like any of the other books you would see on the shelf from Marvel or DC. So, I mean, you want to read a female character, that's one that they've done right, where it's not like a condescending type thing where it's just a male character with boobs. This is actually its own unique character with a unique voice. So overall, highly recommend this. Anyways, if you have any comments or questions, let me know. Like, share. Let me know what you guys are looking forward to reading, what you thought was really good, what you thought was horrible. Now, in theory, there should have been more bad books, but I've cut out a lot of Marvel books, and DC's been hitting like 8 out of 10s, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 with a lot of their titles. So there really hasn't been a lot of garbage, and I just for right now, I'd rather not support the garbage. If you notice, I've dropped 2 of the Marvel book. There's no Civil War, and there's no 2 Avenger books that came out today. So, I'm standing firm. You gotta stop supporting the bullshit. If you want good stuff back, you gotta basically tell them where it counts. Their pocketbook. Anyways, like, share, and until next time.